Hi, it's a little after 7, coming up on 7-11, which is a great number when you're rolling dice and you get the 11, which gives you a lot better odds. But anyway, I really do feel in order to heal my poverty and lack situation, I need to be able to share some words of wisdom that are going to make people go, wow. And as a result, I think the power of words is represented in Proverbs 18:21 in a very explicit way, stating that the power of the tongue is going to lead you to victory. Because victory is an acronym for vision in Christ to overcome rough years. And as a result, I think there's a lot of people that didn't have anything to do with that are somehow feeling guilty or something like that about what transpired many, many moons ago. And I pray that Jesus Christ's sacrifice is not in vain, because there's never going to be victory without sacrifice. And that's why lessons learned lead to blessings earned. And Proverbs 22:6 is about basically focusing on the fact that children are the future leaders of tomorrow. So we need to really elevate our game as far as leading by example if we're going to be their elders. And a lot of us are not blessed with any children, and as a result, we really do care and want to share the fact that children are a blessing from God. And as a result, from the mouth of children comes wisdom. Because I remember when I was 9 years old, I was a hell of a lot smarter than I am now, because I think when you're that age, you realize that with God, all things are possible. And as a result, I feel like I don't really like the clock. I think there's only 2 times during the day. There's nighttime and daytime, and it gets a little dark at night. So as a result, if you're going to be walking around the woods, I suggest you get some fluorescent mushrooms. That way all the animals will realize that you're friendly. And as a result, if you share your mushrooms with the animals, you're going to have a lot better winter, because they're going to be able to feel comfortable. And if you end up sleeping outside, they'll keep you warm. So it's very important to be kind to animals. And I do feel like a lot of times they're better than people, because I like to talk to the dead. And I don't know if people realize this, but the New Testament was written over 2,000 years ago, but I still feel like Proverbs and Psalms are prosperity planning. And as a result, if you give God glory and thank God for everything. Because your best lessons are going to be learned when you go through adversity. And there's a seed of wisdom, benefit, and humor in every adversity. But I do like rabbits, and I do like good habits, because I think that your habits ultimately determine your actions, which develop your character. And as a result, it determines your destiny, because if you invest in good habits, which I think healthcare is basically contingent on self-care. And as a result, if you realize that we only have one body, if somebody was going to give you a car and tell you could have it for the rest of your life, but you only get one car, you're going to take care of that. And if you're really wise, you're going to trade it on a truck, because friends don't let friends get cars. I mean, with a truck, you got a bed, you got the ability to tow an RV, and as a result, I think a lot of people underestimate the value of having a boat, because there's a big difference between value and price, and a lot of people fear getting a boat because they think that every time they go out, it's going to be breaking out another 1,000. But keep in mind, if you get a big enough boat, you can accommodate many more people, And then as a result, when it comes time to pay for the cocaine and the mushrooms and the other medicinal necessities, to be able to say it was going to be a lucky trip, because when we can learn under correct knowledge, laugh under correct knowledge, love under correct knowledge, and live under correct knowledge, we're going to realize that in America, if people really want in Mexico to have more people coming into that country, all they need to do is stop exporting drugs into America, and people will come to them, and that'll really enhance their tourism. I think it'd be a lot better to go to Mexico than it would be to go to Vegas. I think they got a lot better gardens there, and that's all I feel I need is a boat, a garden, and a library, and I'll be a happy camper, whether I'm homeless or not.